From one of the fastest LEGO cars ever built, to this LEGO prosthetic arm that actually works. These are some of the best inventions made with LEGO. But first, I have to show you how half-asleep Chris automated his breakfast with a LEGO train and a Rube Goldberg machine. There's a lot going on here, so I'll try and make it quick. First, the train hits an orange, which knocks over some dominoes, which pushes a ball down this track. Then the ball moves a weight, which launches an RC car at the top that hits a different ball onto a different track. Then the ball rolls into a cup, which pulls another cup up and knocks a marble down a windy track. Then the marble hits another ball that hits a toy car with scissors on it that cuts a string to move the shoe, which hits another toy car with a pencil on it that pops a balloon that moves a marble down a track and starts filling up the cup with orange juice. Okay, what now? Oh, right. Then some marbles fall into a cup, which moves a string that lets lentils fall into a crate that eventually weighs enough to pick up the crate of oranges at the bottom so the train can keep moving. Once it does, it hits a marble down a pipe and into a CD player that does this.
Hey Siri, call half asleep Chris.
Calling half asleep Chris.
You've reached the voicemail of half asleep Chris. Okay Google, do I have any events today?
There's one entry for today. At 6 p.m., you have Alexa, turn on Feed Me Cereal.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? All of that just so cereal could be dropped into the bowl. But it isn't over yet. Alexa also turns on a pump so the bucket of water can empty itself out and be pulled out of the way. Then the train makes its way to the last stop, the milk machine. You see, the whole time, there was an alarm clock that runs away when it rings, propped up against a weight. So when the alarm clock goes off, it pushes the weight off the table, dumps the cow over, and pours milk into the bowl. Literally everything had to be perfect. So it's no wonder it took 34 tries. You might be thinking that this is the best LEGO invention ever. And you're probably right, but one of the best contenders has to be this working LEGO guitar. It has all the necessary parts of a real guitar, but those parts are all built around a LEGO base. This was made by a guy named Alec, who's part of the Master Builders. So combine these real guitar parts with a guy who really knows LEGO, and you get a LEGO guitar that you can actually play. Before this though, he had to build a prototype just to make sure he could really do it. It was made out of 100% LEGO, even the strings, unlike the one that can be played. But after Alec made this prototype, he knew making a playable one was very possible for him. But you don't need to be a master builder to make a crazy invention out of LEGO, because David was able to make himself a bunch of different prosthetic arms with LEGO Technic all before the age of 20. He built his very first one when he was just 9 years old, so it's no wonder he went on to study engineering in Barcelona in university. But at 10 years old, he was able to build a LEGO arm around his body so that he could actually use it, and from there, the floodgates were wide open. He got so good at making LEGO arms for himself that he was able to do a push-up with all of his body weight using one of the arms he made. This is by far one of the coolest ways I've seen someone use LEGO. But did you know someone made a machine that can fold your t-shirts for you? This one was made by Professor Bricks on YouTube, who specializes in LEGO robotics. And what's the best way to use some crazy knowledge like this? Making your life way easier, obviously. Folding laundry is super boring, so instead, you can buy the instructions for this machine and a bunch of others for 50 bucks, put your t-shirt on it, hit the button, and watch the magic happen. Speaking of magic buttons, this insane brick sorter is packed full of them, and it all starts with this train. All you have to do is hit a few buttons to load the train up with bricks, then send it off to the next station. After that, you hit a few more buttons, and this is where the sorting begins. All of the bricks get carried up by this elevator. Then they get thrown into the sorter, which sorts every piece by size. This is definitely one of the best ways to sort LEGO pieces, because as you can see, everything is grouped really well. I especially like that this brick sorter was made more for fun instead of practicality. The train and all the buttons makes it way more interactive, while still saving you time so you don't have to sort your bricks yourself. If we're gonna talk about fun though, then I have to show you this Mandalorian armor made entirely out of LEGO. This was literally made by some random dude on Reddit, which goes to show how creative LEGO fans really are. Now, I'm not 100% sure how good the armor is. Like, I don't think it's stopping a hammer or anything. That's a job for someone like Brick Science, who actually made a video on this exact topic not too long ago. Him and his friend had a competition to see who could build the best armor to defend against different LEGO weapons, and his friends actually turned out to be really good. It could take quite a few hits from the sledgehammer, but I can't say the same for Brick Science. Sorry, bro. Not every invention is meant to be an absolute success. Like, this next one is actually supposed to be a failure. kind of. Have you ever heard of a useless machine? They're basically machines that are only made to be able to turn themselves off. It's quite literally their only purpose. The most well-known ones were made by a guy named Marvin Minsky, but the world of useless machines has grown a lot since his time. These days, we have one made out of Lego, built by JK Brickworks, and it's just as ironic as it's supposed to be. Jason flips the switch on the machine to turn it on, and just as he's about to leave the room, it pops up and flips it back off. The two go on like this for way longer than they should have, but I guess that's the entire point. By far, one of the coolest Lego robots I've ever seen, though, is the Lego dog, made to rival the one from Boston Dynamics. Honestly, I never even understood why these were a thing, so these dogs and the useless machine are pretty much in the same boat in my head. But for a Lego robot dog, it's actually pretty good. It can walk, run, and even hit a little dance move too. But it can also see when objects are in its way, so it doesn't walk into them, which is super sick. If for some reason none of that impresses you, and you just want an RC Lego dog, you can control it yourself with the remote. Considering only one person made it though, I'd say it's pretty good competition for the one from Boston Dynamics. Let's step away from all these safe inventions for a minute though, and look at this insanely dangerous Lego table saw. This thing was made entirely out of Lego Technic pieces, and the saw is the actual saw piece from Lego, which is super sick. With an RPM of 4,350, it was able to cut through paper, cardboard, and even a carrot, which is unbelievably dangerous. Just so you know, when people test the trunk of their car to see if their finger would get crushed, they use a carrot. So if you put your finger through this Lego table saw, odds are it'll get cut clean off. Beyond that though, it was also able to cut a cucumber, a COVID mask, and a piece of carpet before failing on a piece of wood. Would you believe me that the same guy also made a working Lego crushing machine? Well, probably. I mean, who else do you know that's making a Lego table saw that can cut your finger off? The way this crushing machine works is something getting dropped on either side of it, and the 20 motors powering the tracks shoving the item into a super hard Lego piece over and over until it's completely crushed. And this thing must have been really well built, because it crushed almost everything that got thrown into it. It worked on a hard-boiled egg, a cookie, an uncooked Brussels sprout, which is basically a rock, and a raw sausage before failing on a raw carrot. I mean, this thing is seriously dangerous. In my opinion, the best way to use all these RPMs and motor power would be in a Lego car, and that's exactly what Project Air on YouTube was able to do. Now, you'd think you could just load up a Technic car with a bunch of motors and call it a day, but not only are Lego motors way too weak to make a car go fast, but by the time you have enough on there, the car would weigh way too much and wouldn't be able to pick up any speed. So what's the solution? Well, you need a sleek, aerodynamic, lightweight car powered by a microjet turbine? Yup, that's right. Project Air took an engine from a microjet and used it to power a Lego car. Just for reference, this singular motor is 310 times stronger than a Lego motor. So it's definitely got what it takes to make a car go fast. But unfortunately, Lego pieces just aren't made to handle this type of power. The car was only able to handle 20% of the motor's power, which did make it go 26 miles per hour without crashing. But once it got bumped up to 30%, the car wiped out and was pretty much destroyed. Luckily for us, cars aren't the only fun vehicles you can make with Lego. You can also make a tank, and the one made by the Brick Experiment channel is one of the best ones by far. It uses 1,300 Lego parts and only 4 non-Lego parts. But this thing isn't cool because of the parts, or even how it looks. It's cool because you can control this thing with a PS4 controller, but on top of that, it even has a turret mounted on it, which you can also control with the PS4 controller. It's a super strong mechanism from one of their older videos, and it can easily break and knock down Lego bricks from short or far distances. Let's get out of the danger zone though, so I can show you one of the coolest inventions in this video by far. This Lego claw machine made by Brick Science. This thing is over 6 feet tall and works just like a real claw machine. Once you put in the money, $5 is crazy by the way, you can control the claw with the joystick and send it to pick something up with the green button. And surprisingly enough, it actually wasn't rigged. Out of the 3 people who tried it out, one of them was able to win something. So this thing could probably be used in a real arcade. I don't think anyone's paying $5 to play, but I guess someone's gotta pay for all those bricks. Anyways, up next is by far one of the best sorters I've ever seen, but it wasn't even made to sort Lego. Instead, it was made for candy. Now, I gotta say, I have absolutely no idea how you're supposed to code sensors so they know what color things are, but Brick Machines was was able to figure it out. Not only that, but he also made this sorter have a pack and ship system that infinitely loops. Basically, a box rolls up on the candy, and a random amount of pieces for every color gets dropped into the box. After that, the box gets quote-unquote shipped out, but the candy goes back up to the sorter, so it can do that infinite loop. Also, I have no idea how bro was able to make it so each order was random. I mean, this is way above my skill level, but all that does is make it cooler. Another machine that boggles my mind is this Lego printer. I mean, this thing is genuinely insane. JK Brickworks was basically able to make an entire rig that not only holds a pen, but writes readable words on a sheet of paper, all using Lego. He even used an EV3 piece from the Lego Mindstorms theme to code it, which almost nobody does. The only downside is that if you want to print something different, you have to program it into the machine and basically build up a giant library. But that doesn't take away from how genuinely sick this is. Anyways, another insanely cool way you can use Lego is to make a card shuffler, and the one Grumo made on YouTube is the perfect example. All you have to do is load the cards into each side of the shuffler. Then not only will it mix them up, but it'll also deal them out to whoever is playing. You can use a remote to control it, or the buttons that are generated into the build. You can use these to stop and start the shuffling and the dealing, so it'd be really convenient for poker night if you don't trust your friend to shuffle. Now, none of these inventions have been actual Lego products, so for the last one, I want to show you one that is. These are Lego Braille bricks, and they're exactly what they sound like. We all know that Lego wants everyone to be able to enjoy playing with their bricks, and they didn't want to let blindness get in the way of that. So as a result, they made bricks with Braille on them. The goal with these bricks was to be able to teach blind children how to read Braille in a new and fun way. Every brick has different letters and numbers on them, so with enough time, kids could easily learn how to read it. They have these bricks in English, French, and Spanish, and I'm sure one day, Lego will have almost every mainstream language there is out there. But what was your favorite invention in this video? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.